Designer Accessory Adoption. Thanks for watching this video and welcome back to another channel. If you are new, thank you for clicking play. And if you are returning, a special thank you for watching a previous video and coming back for another one. If you are new here, I typically load videos every Wednesday covering topics related to fashion, luxury, contemporary brands, more so focused on the pre-owned side of things, but I do throw in product reviews, unboxings, as well as lifestyle topics. And I also have just started I don't want to say it's a new concept, but it's a new concept for me, which is going to be kind of chatty, opinion-based content. And I'm not like all of my other content's not opinion-based, but more so around fashion news, fashion blog posts, and giving my opinion of it. So this is going to be the second one of its kind, and this is going to be another Purse blog post because I subscribe and I get inspiration from their content that they release, and this is going to be on YSL. So I'll read out the topic, kind of paraphrase the conversation, and then I'll give my opinion at the end. So this article, which I got my phone in front of me so I can keep it straight, is titled, "Is Saint Laurent the only major house to ignore the archival revival trend?" And then below that, the subtext says, "And does that impact the popularity of YSL bags right now?" So I thought this one was an interesting post. It was by Kaitlin Serio. I hope I said her name correctly. So pretty much they start talking about, they open up with the release of the Dior saddlebag, how that one was released. Definitely, and I'll leave the blog post down below so you can definitely read it for yourself. I encourage you to read it. It is an interesting topic. So they talk about the saddlebag, and going down through there, they just kind of talk about some other fashion houses that decided to pop onto this kind of reinvention trend. I really kind of thought about it more like the 90s, because the style of bags that were being released again, like the Fendi baguette, the Prada re-edition of the nylon, those were all things from the 90s and just a little bit into the early 2000s. So I kind of categorize it as that, but I can see how they listed it under kind of that archival re-edition. Really, LV's been doing it for a long time. Coach definitely has done that, where they've revamped their vintage bags from the 70s and 80s, and they also mentioned Coach in here too. And so they were talking about also Celine, Gucci's done it. They re-released their Jackie Hobo. Bottega has also done the same thing. So really, it was interesting that they noticed that YSL is kind of one of those major fashion houses that really didn't pop onto that trend to kind of pull back out their old bags and kind of revamping it for 2021, 2022, and so on. So I thought that was an interesting take that they noticed that about the fashion house. So one of the questions, like I mentioned, which is what I want to touch on, is kind of like that staying power and what that really says about the fashion house. And I just want to read word for word what it says. So in between the article, after they kind of talk about referencing other fashion houses and how they've kind of started doing the same thing, they ask the question, does the lack of YSL designs worthy of a comeback speak to the brand's staying power as a whole? And so I wanted to get into that as an opinion. And so first off, I did do a little bit of research just to kind of see what the previous styles were. I can picture them in my head, but I didn't know the names of them. So those YSL fans out there will be able to call them out just like that. But some of the previous styles that YSL has made was the Muse, which I remember this style, and I've seen kind of like a couple of renditions of the Muse. It first was released in 2005. And if any of you all out there were fans or are fans of, why can't I remember the name of the show now? I was about to say it. It's on Netflix, and I will think of it in a second. But it's with Kevin Spacey, as he was a senator and then he became the president. So his wife Claire, she carried a Muse bag. And I remember seeing the Muse bag and wanting it, and then seeing it on Claire and thought, and instantly did a Google search to see the pre-owned prices for Muses, because it reminded me that I liked that handbag, and I still like it now. So that was released in 2005. The Cabas Chic, which I actually think is the same as the Y Cabas with the big Y, the metal Y on the front. That was another one. I don't have the exact year on that one, but definitely those YSL fans, let me know what the year of that release is. Also, then the Mombasa, which was the hobo with the horn. So it was like a unique take on the handle of a hobo style, a classic style like a hobo, was released in 2007. That was seen on a lot of celebrities. You know, back then that was how things were sold. You saw them on celebrities in paparazzi photos. And then moving up from there, you had the Sac de Jour, which was released in 2013, and that's still a staple of the fashion house. They sell the Sac de Jour now on their website, as well as other third-party retailers like Saks, Neiman Marcus, those places. And then you have the Lulu and those kind of styles, like the Lulu, the College. There's another one, I think it's called the Kate. And then I think there's one other one that has a top handle on it with the YSL letters as the opening portion of the handbag. You have to use it to open the handbag. I don't remember the name of that one, but those are kind of like how the styles have gravitated. So definitely the recent styles, which I kind of feel are more Chanel inspired styles, that those became popular. Those style handbags became very popular with a lot of fashion houses and contemporary brands for the past several years, where you have that quilting detail, you have the chain strap, and the front flap closure. So really Chanel were the original ones of that. So that's why I say it's kind of like the Chanel inspired theme. And YSL has been hitting it out of the park with those styles, the Lulu, the College, all of those. Those have been hits for several years. But they, so I feel like, to answer that question, I don't think that just because YSL did not jump on the reinvention train, is what we'll call it, I don't think that it speaks to negatively, I'll say that. I don't think it speaks negatively to the fashion house's staying power. Now, definitely when you think about resale value, an item that usually is a classic holds its value a lot more than something that was released, it became an it bag, and then it died down, or has not been re-released. So I think in that aspect, definitely, since you can't see evidence of those previous handbag styles with YSL now, those are going to be valued less on the pre-owned market, because there's no direct connection point. Those are old bags, they aren't making them anymore, and so they're just not popular at this moment. So I feel like resale value, like I said, I think is impacted by those styles, or will likely, once they maybe decide to get rid of the bags that are trending now on their websites, like the wallets on chains, all the styles that I just mentioned, like the College and the Lulu, then the resale price for those will be lower. Right now, they still have a pretty decent resale value, and I don't have a percentage in front of me or memorized, but I do think that they do pretty much hold a decent chunk of their value on the resale market, the current bags that are in style now, specifically. But I feel like it does not speak to YSL staying power, just because they have not jumped on this train to re-release and reinvent what they previously made. I think, just looking at a little bit more into YSL, I noticed that certain things they just decided not to do. And I think that's because YSL is extremely comfortable with kind of what works for them. They are comfortable and really know their customer base well. And that's just not the direction that works for them. There's been other trends that YSL has not jumped on, but they still remain extremely relevant and popular now. So some of those are like the bag charms. Some of your big fashion houses, LV, Prada, Hermes, Burberry, all of those, and there are others that make bag charms. YSL does not make bag charms. They did jump into the small handbag game when they made the nano and minis and wallets on chains. So, but I think that worked for, they made it work for what they already had going with their current style. So they didn't like pivot all the way to the left just because of a trend. And I think that speaks to really what I said before about YSL and them just really knowing their customer base, knowing where they want to go, and knowing what's really going to work for them and what they want to say to the market really is what I take from YSL. I feel like YSL typically is more of a classic styled fashion house. In addition to that, it has a kind of edgy appeal to it, where you could take that bag and wear it with a biker jacket, biker boots, and get on a motorcycle and ride off, or you can wear it with a beautiful blazer, some heels, jeans, and go to a completely different event than your biker outfit with the same handbag. So I think they do a great job of making their bag versatile and have that slight twist of edge to it, is kind of the vibe that I get from YSL when I think about their handbags. So another trend that has been going on for the past couple of years that they did not jump on was the logo trend. Pretty much now Gucci, Louis Vuitton, they've always had monogram prints and have been using that for decades. So they're kind of the trendsetters in that area. But recently, Balenciaga has splattered their name all over their handbags. Also, on the contemporary side, Tory Burch has started making monogram bags. Also, who else can I think of? Celine has jumped into that, which actually Celine's vintage bags actually had the monogram on it. So they have done that before, but they reintroduced it pretty much from their archives because that's not what they had done consistently throughout the decades. Let's say it like that. So that's another one that I saw YSL did not hop on, but because I feel like that didn't work for YSL. They knew where they were going in their design, the direction of their design, and that didn't meet the mark for them for whatever reason. They decided not to jump on it. And I think I actually like the fact that they didn't, because so many examples out there, whether we're talking about the fashion industry, we can talk about the music industry, we can talk about cars, the automobile industry. Pretty much everybody kind of gets inspiration from each other, and when they see that something works, then everybody jumps on that bandwagon. So there's not a lot of individuality and a greater distance between creative design, recent things of this decade, the last decade, like it used to be several decades ago. So I think that definitely speaks to YSL being very confident in what they want to push out, and they're not letting kind of trends drive how they do things. So I think that's kudos to YSL for that. And I don't think that it speaks to their staying power because of that. Because you're going to have those people that gravitate because they like individuality, they like that edge, they like that classiness of YSL, and will still buy from YSL. So I think YSL does a great job of making themselves relevant to the times while staying true to kind of their design aspect. Also, let's see. I already talked about the other two things there. So yeah, in summary, I don't think that speaks to their staying power in a negative way. I think it speaks to it more in a positive way, just looking at kind of a little bit more into the trends that they did follow, they didn't follow, where their design aspect and features are. I feel like they've done a good job staying on the path that works for them. And I would love to see what YSL does in the future. And a sac de jour is on my wish list. I absolutely want one. And now that I was looking into this, I definitely think I want to try the Y Cabas. I remember seeing that bag back in the day, and I wanted one. And now it's revived those little love feelings where I think I still do want one. I feel like it's still a classic bag that is unique. Obviously, it's an older style, but I don't care. I like it. I like it. So I actually think I might add that one back to the wish list, but definitely that the sac de jour has been on my wish list for several years, and I definitely want to get one of those. So definitely let me know your thoughts. I encourage you to read the blog post. Kudos to whoever I said wrote it. Sorry, I can't remember right now. But definitely check it out. I'll put the link down below. But let me know your opinion. And if you're enjoying this video, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I load another video. Usually that is on every Wednesday. It releases at 8 p.m. And then also twice a month I release videos on Saturdays at 8 p.m. as well. So I will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time, of your day with me. I think that came out correctly. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye.